Seamless integration.
That's
We
right.
getting there.
Wop, wop, wop. We live? Uh, What up, good people? We are back for another episode of the Planning Podcast. I am sitting next to someone that, of course, you could see my muscles, you could see my traps. Yes, this gentleman is not as big as me. And today is opposite day because that is a lie. So I am here with my good friend Michael Pierce. What up, big dog?
Thank you for having
Yes,
me.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Really excited about this episode because Mike is a leader in so many dynamics. We're going to go through a good bit of not only his journey as an athlete, but more so as a leader. And so before we jump in, Mike, is there anything you want the audience to know as you introduce yourself?
Nah, not too much, man. I'm a normal player. I'm a normal brother. I happened to play football at a time. That time is now over. But nah, man. I'm just a guy that likes to bring good vibes, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Absolutely. And as he mentioned, yes, he is a normal player, not the player that is in the streets because we are out of those because we are both
Completely.
married men. Yes,
Completely.
indeed.
Completely out of the streets.
So tell us this: where are you from? We know football definitely played a role in your life, but if you could just tell us where you're from, and then the first time you were introduced to sports.
All right, so I am from Mobile, Alabama. Unfortunately, it's known as the home of murder and Mardi Gras. I'm gonna look at this camera. I hate that we, as a people,
Yeah.
put this on our Instagrams, put
Yeah.
this on our social media
Yeah.
as a sense of pride. But
Yeah.
in fairness, supposedly we, or factually, it depends on how you want to see it. My mother's from New Orleans, so I juxtapose the two. We started Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's a claim to fame for Mobile. But more importantly, it's the home of the Senior Bowl. So my pops played in the Senior Bowl. I am grown up in a football house from the get-go.
What
So,
position? What position do you play?
my pops played running back.
Okay.
I am the only giant in my household. So my brother was a linebacker. I think the most he weighed was probably 225. No, probably about 240.
Okay.
Maybe. Pops played at like 220,
Yeah.
215. Somehow they got a 350-pound man out of this. Don't know how that happened, but I am very, very grateful. So we've been playing ball since the beginning of time. My dad was a Tulane grad. Played there, obviously. Played in the Senior Bowl. Went to Philly, I think in 88, 89 as an undrafted free agent.
Wow.
Got hurt and didn't play any longer. So he had enough surgeries and whatnot. So
Right.
he decided to call it quits and get into business. And so nah, man, I grew up wearing my dad's jerseys to like Little League football games, cutting them up and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Wearing the practice. Didn't know I was destroying memorabilia at the time. So again, Dad, I'm sorry because I want to hang some of the jerseys and they all cut in half. So so destroying memorabilia as a kid, breaking blinds, throwing footballs with my little brother. We did all that. So
that's cool.
as soon as I was able, they threw me out there like 4. And then I was such a big kid at the time. I think I ended up playing with like 6-year-olds. So that's how I grew up, and thankfully, like I said, something worked out.
That's good. And I'm always interested whenever there is a parent that plays a sport because sometimes there may be a world of sports that they surround you in or submit you in just due to that's their world, right? And so how much of your exposure into sports came with just being a son of an NFL player alongside, my dad watched the Packers every weekend. Like, was there like a continuous environment to where sports was something that was consumed inside your household?
I mean, I think that's just a part of being like down south, really.
That's a good
But
point.
my dad was never like he played at Tulane, small school.
Yeah.
Never like an Alabama fan or Auburn fan at that standpoint. We just watch all the good games.
Yeah.
And like I said, most of the stuff I really chose, bro. I was very strange. I wasn't super into cartoons. I would like to watch like ESPN Classic. I know that's a relic. They don't even have that channel anymore.
Yeah.
So my dad used to tell me about like Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders,
Yeah.
like Gale Sayers, all these running backs, obviously.
Yeah.
And he would like teach me the game through like Marshall Faulk and all this stuff when they were playing the greatest show on turf. So like a lot of my like core childhood memories would be me more so like on a Saturday morning watching ESPN Classic before I go to the football game and trying to reenact stuff. So most of the stuff I really chose, man, outside of the, Saturday, Sunday combination, he didn't really get too deep down in the sports. It was just me choosing it. And that was my first love, man. So That's kind of how that worked.
Now that's really ideal because unfortunately you see a lot of younger athletes that are in a sport and the love is more so through their parent than more so the athlete, right? And so that's the best mix. Did you play or were you interested in any other sports outside of football?
Yeah, no, I was super into basketball. So, well, I said football is my first love, but if you look at my 5th grade yearbook, they said I wrote that I would probably play in the NBA.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was
Okay.
a super tall kid up until 5th grade. 6th grade, everybody came back from like summer vacation. I went from the tallest kid to dang, they got some people that hit puberty and they 6'3" now. So I gotta I still hooped, of course, played in high school and all that stuff, but that growth spurt just never came.
Right.
So being a 6 foot, I should say a stump of a man, if you will, you can't play point guard in the NBA at 6 feet, especially not with this bill. So I knew I had to let that go at some point. But man, like I said, football's always been a thing, but I probably know more basketball. That's not possible, but I equally know basketball and football.
Yeah,
so,
that's good. So you're growing up in Mobile. We have a household in which sports is just a normal conversation. When did you start to think, or did you already have the mindset that this was going to be the way in which I'm going to start establishing really the way I start making money?
You got, like you said, you can always feel like that plans your way, but thankfully I have really, really great parents to say, all right, you want to do this? My mom always told me you can be whatever you want to be, right?
Yeah.
And that would just ring throughout my head even to this day when I face like daunting tasks and whatever you may have that comes through life. But they always stress like, you got to have a plan B.
Yeah.
So, obviously you got to go to school.
Right.
Why not apply yourself in school? Why not see yourself outside of just being an athlete, right?
Right.
And that's the thing. We'll talk about it, I'm sure. Most people don't ever get to, unfortunately, until it's, upon them, if you will.
Yep.
So,
that's right.
No, man, I always saw myself outside of football as well, but I just knew, like, this is what drives me. This is what I'm super, super passionate about. Obviously, I need to be good at school and do other things just to be a well-rounded individual.
Right.
So, man, there's definitely things I definitely did outside of football. And, I took public administration. I wanted to get into government. At the time when it's a 19-year-old Mike, I probably wouldn't choose that now. But given the climate of things, we'll talk about that another time off the podcast. But, yes, so, I definitely, Thurgood Marshall was really, really one of my
Let's go.
heroes. I did a thing about him. Was super big on Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
I don't just say that. That was actually like literally some heroes that I had and as I was growing up. So that's how I ended up choosing public administration from college. But yeah. So I definitely saw something outside of myself. Saw something outside of sports, and that was something that was a non-negotiable at my career.
What was some of the examples of leadership? So, of course, the most immediate example is what you have at the house. So shout out to mom and dad. Salute to them because we would have more people in the world that are positive contributors to the world or making positive contributions to the world if they had a stable at-home environment alongside having exposure to folks that just said, hey, I love you, I trust you, you can be what you see, right? What were some other influences around you? It could be a coach. Like who were other individuals that you saw outside your house that helped shape the way in which you think today?
So I always say it's home of the Senior Bowl of Mobile being. So like we just got to see all those athletes just come through at a pivotal time. They didn't play all their plays in college. That's all the draft hype. So I always got to see people on their ascension, right? And like I said, all that stuff was just football driven. But for people outside, like I said, I've been blessed, man, in Mobile. We used to produce the most athletes in the NFL per capita.
Yeah.
For anybody in the United States. So I can go back to Clifton McNeil. He played for the 49ers wide receiver. He used to volunteer and like substitute teach in my middle school.
Really?
And like I always used to think there's got to be a lie. Like there's no way you played in the NFL.
Yeah.
And now you substitute teaching, not in a bad way, but like the humility. Like how do you even, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, my best friend's a teacher, so obviously I respect the profession.
Right.
there's clearly life outside of football.
Right.
And whatever's drawing you to just, pouring the kids and just see how he used to interact with everybody.
Yeah.
That was huge for me, man. But I was like, that's like a tangible thing. Like, dang, this dude went where I wanted to go.
Right.
And that was such a long time ago.
Yeah.
But like, this dude is still like a superhero in our community doing this stuff. Just a free will.
Yeah.
So that was dope, man.
That's cool.
Like I said, I done met a whole bunch of people through my pops. Yeah, but a lot of them were really just like sports figures. So like Terrell Owens got inducted to the Senior Bowl Hall of Fame. All these different people come back, different kind of coaches and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of my stuff was mostly just centered around like those kind of figures that were just coming in and out of Mobile at the time. Yeah. But one person that definitely deserves a shout out is Clifton McNeil, dog. Because like I said, to see him just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Clifton. Shout out to all of our educators across the country. Folks know that we do work inside the classroom. And so I feel like anyone that is in front of the next slate of leaders like yourself, they are superheroes because you still see him as a superhero even once he took the helmet off, right? And so that level of proximity, and one of the things Mike and I were talking about earlier is just the power of exposure, right? Just to be able to have someone you could see, touch, see them laugh. You may see them trip on the way coming. Oh, you are human, right? Like how are you here? Why do I see you? And then as life goes on, we start to see people through different lenses because our lens has been exposed based off of all the different experiences. And so, yeah, shout out, Mr. McNeil, shout out Clifton, shout out Mobile. Alongside that, definitely talked about the role your pops has played and continues to play in your life. Are there any like key principles that you've been moving with as you've navigated, again, as you get out of high school, and then we're going to get into college? Like, what were some of the things that you knew that I had to keep true to really continue to reflect the Pierce last name the way he has?
It's just more so like sweat equity, man. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever whatever God puts in your heart. My dad's also a pastor as well as a businessman. So a lot of stuff is like faith-based principle type stuff. Yeah. But just if you want to just keep it, irregardless of Christian beliefs and all that other stuff, it's just whatever you're passionate about, whatever dream you have, it's attainable. Right. It's just about, what you're willing to sacrifice to get it. And then, like I said, you just let those things guide you on your path and keep you out of, certain situations and those type of things. So just out of respect for my dad, man, my dad is 1 of 9, first to go to college. They grew up with in a 2-bedroom house down in the hood in Mobile. Yeah. And like I said, he used to drive us to where he grew up all the time, even though I'm a suburban kid. I was blessed. But just to see where he came from and to see the trajectory of somebody like so close to you is just it was kind of insane, bro. Yeah. To see the people he grew up with, and they might not be doing, not necessarily as well, just based on what choices you made and however you chose your life plan. So man, it's just really sweat equity, and then whatever you got in your heart, be bold enough to do whatever it takes to do it. Yeah. Obviously within the law and within the rules, within reason, and whatever principles you believe in. But it was just that. So there's plenty of times I've encountered in sports where there was no way I felt like I was gonna make it to the NFL, even though that's what I wanted to do. But like I said, those things allowed me to continue to make the right decisions and push through those hard times and all those type things.
I got a selfish question, bro. So what I'm navigating through now, so of course I have 3 kids, as we talked about, and a good bit of the characteristics that I operate with now is due to the lack of resources we had while growing up. Now, the way our children are growing up is inverse, right?
Indeed.
It's totally it is different, right? Indeed. Totally different. Even my daughter the other day, she was like, "Daddy, I'm bored. Let's go to Jamaica." I'm like, "Well, hold on now. It don't just work like that. I need you to, wash some dishes or something. Turn that TV." Right. So, what did you acknowledge? And this is some of the things that I'm always looking at when I see son-father relationship, especially when father's like, okay, daddy, that dude, you know what I'm saying? And I'm always curious when the son recognized it. Like, all right, yes, I listen to this person. Yes, I listen to this person. But there's a way in which other people see my dad that I didn't necessarily see until X or Y and Z. So was there a particular time then when you were like, all right, Dad, I can't stand you for real, but you, all right, you dad. You know, like,
Yeah. Yeah. So I always grew up, bro, with a certain sense of doubt, if you will, just because my dad, I mean, we put out tons and tons of NFL talent, but for some reason, people would just always tell me, even when I was like 4 or 5 years old, you'll never be as good as your dad.
Wow.
So in my mind, I'm like, dang, okay, cool. And the person I am, that's a switch that hit.
Yeah.
I'm about to show y'all.
Yeah.
I'm the boy. So, you know, and I'm a junior as well. So
okay. Yeah.
I didn't really, like I said, I heard people just had that reverence for him on the football field, right? And it wasn't until like high school, I ended up going to the same high school he went to at first. And like people would just rave, like, oh my God, your dad, Keith McCants, they were doing all this stuff. They won a high school championship and all this other stuff. And I'm like, dang, that was like 19, Jesus knows when. You know what I mean? And I'm like, y'all still talking about this. Like,
yeah.
where is it? You know, they don't have film available like we do. But I was like, I really need to figure this out.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, just church aspects, people talking about business and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You just start to, I mean, as you mature,
you
start to grasp the weight of, you know, the memories that these people hold and all this kind of stuff. So it was probably like 15 as I start seeing the world a little differently. And I'm like, dang, these people still coming up to me saying, you're not going to be as good as your dad. So whatever it is that he did, which, you know, he won his state championship and whatnot, I gotta get on my grind.
Yeah.
So I think that started my literally like, all right, I want to go to college. I want to win the championship in high school, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I got to start.
Yeah.
I got a lot of work to do.
Right.
So
right.
that's when that switch hit for me, and then kind of just kept going.
I love it. Shout out Pop. Shout out. I love that relationship. Appreciate you even sharing. So tell us about those letters that you get. As we all know, when you in high school, you walk into the locker room, you got letters out of, you know, stuffed in where your locker's at or coach's hand. So tell us about the recruitment process, where you ended up. Like, so how did we get to college?
And I had an interesting little path, bro. Kind of how I had when we maybe touch on it going into the pros. So I won dang near almost every award you can win in like high school, local sports. So all state, all county, all whatever. State championship MVP. I mentioned that because I played with two very famous people who were better than me at the time. TJ Yeldon, second round draft pick, played at Alabama for Nick Saban. Caught that screen pass at LSU and took that joint to the crib. He's a year younger than I am. We won the state championship together. Ryan Anderson, Alabama, second round draft choice to Washington Redskins. So it was more so like I was a year older than them, and I kind of led the team, if you will. But those were the big time recruits. Them, like I said, Alabama at the game. They not necessarily. I'm hoping to catch their eye, but they here to see TJ. That's the man. You know what I mean? So I think he ended up being like the second-rated running back, playing in the Army All-American Bowl and all that stuff. So for me, it was just like, dang, like these people younger than me, but not out of envy. I want to work to get where they are or where they going, right? So it was just head down. So I mean, I got my first offer from like Western Kentucky and all that kind of stuff, and I'm happy. And the University of Oregon. This is like old University of Oregon. Chip Kelly. Dang, LaMichael James.
Yes, sir.
Texting this man, and he like nonchalantly like brushing it off. So I kid you not, my dad took TJ and I to Florida State senior day, and that's when they had Jameis Winston and all of them. I think he was, Jameis my class. They was their class. So when they were popping out draft choice, and he went to Alabama State senior day, Alabama University senior day. So the thing being is, I just told y'all he's a year younger than me. He's at the senior day with me. So again, you know, they invite all the big time
The
seniors.
dogs. Come on, man.
To come to the camp, come see. Bro don't have to do nothing. He walk in the door. He got a different badge than me. So at some point, we were riding back home. In my mind, I'm like, I think they sent us up here to have him be there. Because his parents might not be able to drive him to these different spots, but my pops can on the weekend.
Right.
So they ain't really worried about me.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
this is the boy.
Yeah.
So he's copping free rides, and I mean, it's all love. Obviously, I was just blessed to be there,
Right.
and happy to be, walking the halls where all these great people play. But so I just had to fight my way, man.
That's good.
Like I said, I got my first offer at Western Kentucky, ended up my second one being Tulane, and then I got some stuff late, like Arizona offered me like the day before signing day. And if it wasn't for my dad, I probably would have went out there with Rich Rod. He ended up leaving. But at that time, I could not understand that if they offering you the day before you supposed to sign, you are the last person on their list. So that wisdom kind of helped me. I was pissed.
Yeah,
but in
right.
retrospect, OG had my back.
Yeah,
but and there was no transfer portal for the people watching. Now you can't just leave the school. So you kind of screwed if that happens. So yeah, man. I had very few offers, even though I had won like state championship MVP and all that stuff.
Right.
I ended up signing Tulane when my pops played. That's where my pops met my mom, and that's where I met my wife. So God works in all kinds of ways, like mind-boggling ways.
Wow.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Yes. So I needed to go to Tulane and meet her and become friends with her at that time. But Tulane was very terrible. I had won every game. My senior year, we were 12-0, undefeated, all that good stuff. I got to Tulane. The year before, they won 2 games. My freshman year, we won 2 games. So drastic change, culture, drastic change in outlook, perspective, however you want to do it.
Right.
My coach ended up quitting his job in the middle of the season.
Really?
Yeah. Bob Toledo. Shout out to Bob.
Yeah, shout out Bob.
He was a good dude, though.
Yeah.
Good guy. But he, for whatever reason, he was gone. So yeah, man, like I said, not the most glamorous thing when you think about NFL trajectories and all those things, how you get into school. But like I said, ultimately it led me to Sanford, meeting people who, play with you and whatnot. Yeah. I should mention, and I definitely should have mentioned, shout out to Jaquaski Tart.
Oh, yeah.
His mama lived in my neighborhood, and like I said, he the one who actually convinced me to come to Sanford.
Really?
But,
shout out Quaski,
if it wasn't for Quaski, Sanford actually offered me in high school. Coach D left a message on my phone, and
Billy D.
Being from Mobile, I had never heard of this school, and I swore he offered me a scholarship over the voicemail.
Yeah, that's Coach
And I'm
D.
thinking he's saying Stanford, and so mind you, I'm a very decent student. I think I had like a 3.0-ish. I'm thinking like I'm a good student, but I didn't even take the SAT. How it's Stanford?
Yeah.
I started panicking, like, are my grades good enough to get into Stanford? So I called this man back. He said, no, Samford in Birmingham.
Yeah.
SAM. And I'm like, sir, with all due respect, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm appreciative of the offer.
That's right.
I'm going D1, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that, like I said, thankfully I handled the situation with great humility. Because he surely was my defensive coordinator my whole last back half of
Billy
the
D,
career.
man.
That was an interesting little tidbit.
I love that story because there is this posture that you've had even while you went into Tulane, even during the recruiting process, to where essentially, just calling it a spade, you were overlooked, right? And the way you process that, not with, oh, it's something wrong with me, is like, nah, it's something y'all don't see yet. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing and displaying it. Shout out Tulane being the we'll just say the University of Love.
Indeed.
For mom and pops to meet there and then created, and then for you to be able to meet your wife today, that's incredible. Quas, man, got to shout out Mobile because Quas is definitely an OG alum coming out of Sanford. Very similar story. So when I was recruited, this was Pat Sullivan's first year as coach. So we were Coach Sullivan's first hand-picked class, and so that meant something because everyone that was chosen or that was offered on our class, especially during that first visit, which is where they want the dogs, right? Everyone had at least one big D1 offer. Someone had NC State, someone had UCF, someone had everyone had. So when Coach D called, it was Coach D as well, and shout out Ross Robinson. When they originally reached out, they were like Sanford, and I was like, I'm finna slide to California. Bet I'm finna see what this, because you thinking about your visit. Like, man, run the play. I'm finna get on the plane. And then, doing a little bit more investigation. And like, no. Samford in Birmingham. I was like, I'm good, right?
Cool.
And lo and behold, of course, that's where I ended up selecting the school. And thank God for that, because if it wasn't for the city of Birmingham, I wouldn't have met my wife, right? And so, all right, so Tulane, thank you for being the bridge that essentially allowed you to be able to walk over to eventually become a Bulldog. So shout out to the Bulldogs. While you were at Samford, was there any type of disruption in your aspiration of wanting to continue to make it to the league? Or what shift occurred while you were making that transition, if any? And then as you were at Samford, what are any memorable experiences you may have had on the field or off the field?
Well, I'll address the shift first. I tore my MCL, PCL, and meniscus the second to last game of my senior year.
At Samford?
Yeah.
What?
Yes. I wish I could have made this up. So, obviously, I played with James Bradbury, second-round draft pick, kind of like the TJ Elder story. When NFL scouts come, they looking at James, and they certainly should have. He made all-pro and all that stuff. But, again, I had to work for mine, right? So, that's a recurring theme, and that's how I just know God got his hands over my little tail. So, big tail.
I'm about to say Lil.
Anyway, yeah. So, nah, man, I made Senior Bowl all whatever. I mean, a little preseason watch list.
Yeah.
I got on a preseason award for, I was supposed to be Defensive Player of the Year. They projected that way. I ended up making all conference and all that stuff. I had a whole bunch of agents calling my phone at the time, like Von Miller's agency, all the big time agents. I was like, oh my God, my dreams about, I'm on the cusp.
Yeah.
We at Samford, for those who do not know, play in the SoCon, and we have to play triple option teams.
Oh,
as a defensive, as a defender in general,
yes,
that is a nightmare for a defensive lineman trying to go to the NFL. That is a mega nightmare. So all the cut block rules and the stuff you see from Georgia Tech don't look like that at Samford. That is like you in the dirt. It is a war. Like
facts.
I thought, and this is cowardice. I thought about faking a concussion to not play the game that I got hurt in. Just because I was like, I cannot get hurt. Now, mind you, every time you play one of those teams, you're going to roll an ankle, you're going to have a knee, all this stuff.
Every time.
We were terrible at that time. We weren't up to standard at the time at that point in the season. So I'm like, I'm just counting my ends. Like, I'm like, all right, I got it. Stats good, this good, I'm on track.
Yep.
James got invited into the game. They came to the whole thing. I'm like, all right, if I just get my back in, I can just sneak in.
Right.
At the end, last selection, I don't care. I just need people to see me play against these big-time people.
Yep.
That all changed on the last, second to last Saturday of the dang year. So, bro, I literally, and shout out to, I call him my uncle. I call him one of my OG's big homies, one of my dad's teammates. He's was the assistant GM in Miami. They all just got relieved that they do this. So shout out to Marvin. We know you're going to bounce back, big dog. But,
absolutely.
I say all that to say, like, if it wasn't for him, I was in the training room. I didn't even have surgery at that time. He was just coming to see James.
Wow.
Right? Doing due diligence. You know, scouts coming in at the end of the year. And obviously he heard what happened. He walked in there, but I'm in despair. I'm saying, hey, now I didn't talk to like two other people who come in there and encourage me. I'm like, hey, don't worry about this football stuff. I'd like to get a scouting job. I'm very smart.
You already made the
realm
decision.
of football.
Oh, you shut it
so
down.
So I am like literally, we got to pivot. Like I said, my dad also grew up at a time, and I think that was my dad's thing out of poverty. So you talk about kids growing up. Yeah. My dad always told us when you turn 18, you are now converted to a visitor. You cannot stay here any longer. So don't even try to come back and stay here. Don't try to go to local university.
Right.
If you graduate and you decide you ain't going to college, and we always grew up saying, he's like, you got some kind of college savings, but I'm going to use that. So if you don't get an academic scholarship or a football scholarship, you have to incur some debt.
Come on, Pops.
So, I mean, that was motivation.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to do this junk anyway. So, but no, we grew up with that.
Yeah.
You got some fire under your tail.
Yeah.
So I knew I couldn't go back home.
Right. Right.
and sit there and mope in my thing.
That's a crazy amount of motivation.
So when I graduated in December. So literally I'm 2 weeks out from graduation. So I'm like, dang, I can't even go home for real. Not to just sit there and figure it out. I got to move.
Right.
So, people come in there and say, hey, Mike, you going to bounce back, bro? I said, oh, no. Listen, how do I apply for a scouting job? Like I said, my dad's on the Senior Bowl committee and all this stuff. So I kind of, I always wanted to, I love ball. So I always wanted to be around that junk. I wasn't into coaching at the time or worrying about that. I was like, look, how do I become a scout? What do I need to do? What are the requirements? Whatever. I kid you not, bro. 2 people gave me preliminary job offers. Just off the initiative, and they was shocked that this is what I'm on. Right. So he was like, oh, man, please call me. We love to have people like athletes. They get to know you a little bit as they come in the building. You're a really smart kid. Right. We think you could definitely, like I said, I talked to them people about Eric Dickerson. Yeah. And they how old are you? You know what I mean? So I can just talk all day about ball. So they like, all right, cool. Yeah, man, if you graduate, if it don't work out at Pro Day, et cetera, please give us a call. So I got their cards, bro. The dude used to start the 40 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I forget his name. And I think it's somebody else from Philly, if I'm not mistaken. So now I had 2 little preliminary job offers. So I told Marvin the same thing. Look, man, don't worry about it. He said, you going to bounce back from Pro Day? Listen, I need a job. Yeah. If you can't get me a job, can you direct me somewhere where I can get a job? So, that's prior to having surgery and all this stuff. And it was just that was a level I knew I didn't have time to sit in despair. Yeah. So, like I said, graduation was in 2 weeks. We gotta move. Yeah. So, I was definitely sad and in a rough place for sure. But at the same time, I still love ball. I gotta figure my way out around this joint. So, that was a big obstacle we had to hurdle.
Bruh, so. I can throw this mic right now. I think that. So there's so much there. I'm getting chill bumps just even thinking about that journey. One, now I'm just super curious. So what words were exchanged for you to say, because you had to have surgery. So once you said, all right, I'm gonna try to keep playing ball. What were the steps after that? It's 2 weeks out of graduation. Currently, you like, man, I've already made the decision to start seeing what life is going to be like afterwards, because I've been, we'll just say, programmed that way, right? Like I'm taking that pop star. Once you turn like you a visitor, which means any visitors we have pay a fee to get back in. Okay,
you got girls, it might not work like that, no. But my dad got 2 boys, so that little Stern joint.
That's right. Yeah. Now my girls stay home.
Yeah.
So what? How did? So, okay, so let me just make sure I'm clear on the steps afterwards, because again, the great thing of this story we both know is that you were able to continue to play football. But we're 2 weeks out of graduation. You have ultimately began to make the decision that, all right, let me start seeing other ways to generate revenue that's not through this sport. But at some point, and of course there was a conversation that you had in which you're like, all right, let me lock back in. Like, what words triggered the mindset shift and then your body to be able to submit to it?
It was like I had surgery. I delayed my surgery. Yeah. It was only 2 weeks, but I delayed my surgery because I wanted to walk I didn't want to go to graduation. I feel that. My parents wanted me to go into graduation, so I'm like, dude, if I had this surgery this week, I'm gonna be on pain pills by the time Sanford University, you gotta walk up a stage, it's a lot of stairs. I'm not going up there with no crutches. Right. So I literally did prehab and stuff, got my legs strong enough where I could just walk up there with a brace. Yeah. Under my pants. Yeah. And under the gown, obviously. So I limped my way through graduation, and my mom was just driving me home. Now I'm on pain pills. And she was like, yeah, well, you got to start going to rehab. And I'm like, again, I'm not fully lucid. I was like, lady, and I'm very respectful. My mom is like that's my everything. Yeah. Lady, I ain't worried about nothing in regards to playing football. Right. We don't have to worry about this surgery. I need to, like I said, I'm going to call these people when I feel better, and we're going to work on the scouting thing. And she's like, you really just going to give up on your dreams like that? And I just didn't. I remember, now, mind you, I had surgery in Birmingham. We have a 4-hour ride back to Mobile. Same day. So I just did not speak. Like that hit my soul, and she was like, "That is just a shame."
This is
So
so good.
I felt like I had let my mom down to an extent where she didn't really have. It was a silent ride after that.
Yeah.
But no, that was kind of like doctors had told me like, "Hey, you might not do as well at pro day as you want to, but you will be able to do everything."
Yeah.
Right. So I think I went back a lot. Like I said, all the agents had flown away. They had gone. Like I said, once I got hurt and I couldn't play in the Senior Bowl, all the big time agencies and everybody just
Because this
flew.
knee surgery, this
They
ain't
gone,
this
right.
ain't no,
Right.
yeah.
You went from, you know what I'm saying, potentially 4th to 6th round draft
Yep.
choice to
Yeah.
you're 100% a free agent now.
Yeah.
So I was going to have to fight my way if I made it to a Senior Bowl, the East-West round or something like that, fight my way on the draft boards. But
Again.
that opportunity was shot.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
physically, I couldn't do it. So, no, man, like I said, I ended up having like 1 or 2 agents stick with me. And he's like, "Man, look, you can play, bro. You can do all this stuff." But I think my mom's saying that, and then, like I said, my dad, I did get to go home and actually recover.
Yeah.
But I had to find the agent. You know what? I talked to the agent that took me. Shout out to Markeith down in Mississippi. But nah, man, it was just a mess, bro. So me going to a regular little rehab clinic down in Daphne, Alabama. It's not Andrew Sports Medicine.
Right.
They don't have the pools. They don't have nothing. I'm just literally, they got some makeshift stairs. They teaching me how to walk up the stairs. And I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
We got a long way to go.
Yeah.
If I really want to do this. But I always heard my mom say that is a shame. So, nah, bro, I just literally did that. I started lifting on my leg when I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Shout out to my trainer who helping me get in regular people fit shape now. I got to drop this football weight. Rick Rosano at Pain Train. That's my man.
Go, Rick.
He had me since I was in high school.
That's what's up.
So, nah, I would definitely not have made it if it wasn't for him. But so I'm doing everything I can, bro. I could pull up a picture, bro. I still got the stitches in. I got the Band-Aids over my knee. And I'm out here shrugging and doing all the upper body stuff and just going crazy, just trying to, you know what I'm saying, make some of it. So it definitely wasn't like your typical, you know what I'm saying, top tier athlete experience, but just from rehabbing and not having certain things, and then, you know what I'm saying, they send you off to these different facilities and stuff. But like I said, now I come to appreciate, like I said, those grassroots people who stuck by me when it didn't look good at all.
Man, you don't understand how much I'm doing a Tootsie Roll right now with this story, because that car ride home, there is so much therapy in that, and just a question, and there's a lot of maturation in your ability to know not to respond and just like let the question process, you know, because anyone that has the aspiration to be an NFL player, NBA player, professional athlete, and is cut short not because of their ability to play the sport, but it's their inability to be able to really reflect what they can do in the sport because of an injury, right? And so mentally, it's like, I know I can do it. It's just, you know, all the Lego pieces got to connect,
right.
you know, and so I love hearing that, and so now, all right, this is the best. Like, this is low key a documentary. So now, recovery, pro day. So you still showed up for pro day,
bro. I blew it up.
April, pro days in April,
something like that. Yeah.
So surgery probably had about 90 days or so of recovery.
Ooh, that might have been. Yeah, it might have been late April. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got about 3-4 months of a recovery.
Yeah, 4 months.
Yeah.
So,
4 months, some of it expedited. Hey, don't put no weights on it. Well, I'm gonna do that a little bit earlier. Than and so in the performance, everybody was just like, hold up.
Yeah. So pro day at 3:30, I ran 4.9.
And this is after getting your knee cut on.
Yeah. So that basically, like I said, I was still on the mend. I ended up popping my hamstring, running in my second 40, but I clocked that 4.9, and the scouts was like, "Yo, you good?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll get drafted, but you got it." So I ended up not. I did well on the bench press. Obviously, I'm a strong person. I jumped really far on the broad. I think it's like 9.11 or something.
That's extremely
for a big
far.
person. That's kind of crazy.
Far. Yes.
So I mean, people started like buzzing. Then you go outside, you run. I didn't do the short shuttle or anything because my hamstring.
Yeah.
And then they put me through like a very, very short position work. But
Right.
like I said, I went back in, rubbed some stuff on it, put all kind of bandages and all that kind of crap, and I just gutted it out. But had that not gone exactly that way, that would have been shot.
That would have been it.
So God looked out for me like, whew, again, by a hair. We got through. So we get through that. Like I said, did well, and they gave me a little Wonderlic exam and all that stuff upstairs in the field house, and team started calling and asking, and it got to the point, bro, I kid you not, and this is a true story. I never said this on camera, but I'm going to say it today because I just don't even care. And John Harbaugh, you're my man. So, obviously, I'm a Raven. Today I die. We get to the draft process. I took my pre-draft to Baltimore. I took a pre-draft to Buffalo where Rex Ryan was there. He was actually good. Well, they're great now. Yeah. But they were decent at that time, but their defense was really good.
Right.
So it got to the point where people were saying, you might end up getting drafted in the late rounds, and like I said, for me, that was ecstatic just to be able to potentially, especially where I just came from 5 months ago. I was like, wow, this is it.
Yeah.
And you said, my contemporary James is, he big time. He ended up going the second round. So for me, just to be able to get invited, I didn't go to the combine, obviously. Get invited to somebody's facility, show you around. They kind of trying to make you feel like home if we draft you. I'm like, I'm at home anywhere. It could be Green Bay. Clearly, didn't want to go to Green Bay out of all the places, but if they would invite me, I would have been happy to have cheese and do all that stuff. So, cool. So, you get to draft day. Obviously, I knew I wasn't going in the first, second round. This is day 3 of the draft. Before the draft, I kid you not, my agent is on the phone. I get a call from Baltimore. It's prior to the draft now.
Yep.
John Harbaugh called and said, hey, they had like 6 picks. A couple of them were compensatory. 4th round. He was like, hey, we definitely going to take you in the draft today. I don't know if it's going to be in the 5th round, 6th or 7th, but however the board, he was like, if we're going to draft in those, we're drafting you.
Yeah.
So, I kid you not, my parents heard this on the phone. We very private. I don't really care for fame or anything like that. So we don't have no draft party. It's just my parents and me in the living room. So had they not heard that, and they would have never believed somebody told me that for me to go undrafted.
Right.
And I watched all these picks go by. 6 of them. Couple in the 4th, like 3 in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. I think the last one was Keenan Reynolds. He was a record-setting quarterback at Navy.
Yeah.
Scored a whole bunch. Like I think he broke an NCAA record.
I remember him.
Rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
So at the time, now in hindsight, I understand.
Yeah.
But bro, I was in tears. Tears.
Yeah.
Like I think after Baltimore made their last pick in the 7th round, I went in my room and started crying.
Yeah.
I was just in my childhood room, laying in the bed, like,
right.
Lord, how did this happen to me?
Right.
And did we just do all this for no reason?
Right.
But like I said, if it had not been for this man calling me, my hopes would have never been through the roof.
That's right.
Like I said, that just obviously adds a little ice into the story how it all works out. But
bro, that's well, first I'll say this: if I tell my kids we going to Disney World on Tuesday, on Monday they asking, "Hey, we going to Disney World? We going to Disney World?
We going to Disney World?"
And then when Tuesday hit, and we ain't in a car or a plane, so if you set the expectation, it's tough to not honor the response when it's not met, right? And so I can only imagine, especially when there's other people you love that's already starting to cultivate that moment, like, man, when they call, we're going to, and so now all of that happens and you still, and this is the beauty of it all, he still stayed locked in.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? You still stayed locked in. And that's okay. So
let's not glance over this. I lost locked in for a second.
Yeah.
So as the draft is going on, like I said, I left before the thing concluded. Now, mind you, I don't even know how this works. And this is not the inner workers of the NFL, but somebody knows something.
Yeah.
The draft is still going on. It's in the 6th round. People are calling me saying, hey, we'd like to bring you as a priority undrafted free agent. I'm like, the draft is still going on.
Yeah.
And y'all still got picks. How do you know I'm not getting drafted?
Right.
These people already told me I'm getting drafted, so cool, whatever.
Right.
So I'm just like, oh, yeah, whatever. You say thank you, obviously. I'm not rushing them off the phone, being polite.
Facts.
Business-wise, obviously.
Right.
But I'm just like, bye.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Baltimore. If nothing else happened, I'm going to get drafted by the Ravens today.
Yeah.
The head man found my phone number in Mobile.
Come on.
So, like I said, I watched all that happen. People were still calling my phone as the end of the draft was wrapping up. I stopped answering all phone calls. As if there was no Rod Wave at the time. If there was a song for sadness, it would be one of them tracks. Because, boy, look here. I couldn't imagine that Michael Jordan crying for. I can't. It had to be 12 times worse than that.
Yeah.
It was. I was the kid sitting on the stoop waiting on their dad that never showed up. It was terrible. But no, I definitely lost the faith for a minute.
Yeah.
And I just stopped answering the phone. Like, man, whatever.
Yeah.
So thankfully, my dad came in there and gave me a stern like, yo, we still got opportunity on the door, whatever.
Right.
So I get on the phone with my agent. He's saying we got like 10 teams that want to bring you in, but I think you need to go to Baltimore. And I'm like, I think you're fired. Did you not just hear what this man told me? You know, like he on the phone too. He heard this. Yeah. And I'm like, of all places, you want to send me where?
Come on, man.
Well, I will go to Cleveland. No disrespect, but
right.
Cleveland was like 2-14. I will go over there. And they just drafted nose guard first round. Shout out to Danny Shelton the year prior. I don't even know why they all. I guess I was a camp by them, but I'll go over there before I go back over to Baltimore.
Yeah.
So no, it did not just like I said. I didn't want to glance over that.
That's a good call out.
There was certainly it was past doubt. It was despair again.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. No. And that's and it's consistent with the cusp that you mentioned, right? Of opportunities, expectation, to where there was a level of reconfiguring. There was, people in your life that was able to say, hey, hold on. And that's really a consistent theme that not only athletes, us as humans, right? Like, one of the things that I've been working through just even during time of just leadership and building a company, leading organizations, is how I deal with disappointment.
Right.
Like that has been the one thing that I don't want to be an expert at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be disappointed. But at the same time, it's an aspect of dealing with other people. It's an aspect of dealing with life, and it's an aspect of navigating through life that, if you're not in the right environment, or if your mindset hasn't been introduced to an environment that really displays the excellence when moments like this happen, because we ain't gonna be perfect, right?
Certainly
like there's gonna be time. I like to control my cussing when I can, but if you catch me, you cut me off, you gonna get a couple of them, the Jamaican gonna come. So all of that's gonna hit. And so, all right. So now you make the decision. First it's like, yo, I think you need to go to Baltimore. Like, bro, he just broke a promise already. I don't even know if I can trust you. The decision is made. We won't get into the why, or how, we'll just get into, all right, I'm finna do this. Right. There is, of course, the onboarding process, just being an NFL player, that, from mini camp to different learning situations on just rookie stuff that you just need to know. And then at the end of the day, then it's just time to compete. Right. And so, undrafted free agent, at the end of the day, there's no true guarantees. Like you got to go earn that. And even with those that we've seen that sign contracts, you may see, 4 year, $12 million, but only $800,000 guaranteed or something like that. And so
you get cut after the first year.
Absolutely. And so if you get cut, you might as well, think about cutting them dollars as well. But coming in as an undrafted free agent may be similar to joining a team as a walk-on, to where the way you were brought in may impact the way other people see you.
Very unceremoniously.
Yes, sir. So tell us what occurred for you to be able to, I'm going to use the term campus, but for you to step into the city of Baltimore as an undrafted free agent, and then eventually get to the position of, this defense will not be successful unless he's on the field.
Like I said, I always make sure I share the pitfalls, the disappointments and stuff when I tell my story, just so people know, nobody's exempt, because they see people in the NFL. Language. You're not exempt from the ebbs and flows of life.
That's good language.
Regardless if you a first round draft choice, second round draft choice, you've been the man since like TJ was this high and he rolled that wave all the way through.
Right.
You still gonna have your bumps, your pitfalls. You know what I'm saying? So I always make sure I highlight those things. But no, definitely coming in as an undrafted free agent. It's unceremonious, so you at the back of every line.
Yep.
Like I said, I went to Baltimore at a time where everybody who played in front of me made at least $25 million or more in one deal. So we playing with Timmy Jernigan, second round draft choice, $60 million to the Eagles. Lawrence Guy, champion, NFL champion with the Patriots. I don't know how much he made, a lot more than 50. I probably made the least amount of money, and I made a ton of money in the league.
Right.
So Brandon Williams, $50 million deal. Terrell Suggs, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Eric Weddle, probably going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I was just going down the D-line list, but he can go on and on. Zadarius Smith, who's from Greenville, Alabama.
Yeah.
A ton of money with the Packers, probably $50, $60 million.
Yeah.
So I played with all these different people who were it. Like I said, it didn't even feel like I belonged in that room. So it was just more so. And one thing, a principle my dad always taught me that carries true to this day really is it's better to be seen than to be heard.
Come on now.
So it wasn't a lot of talking for me when I got there. It was just grind mode. So whatever y'all got to say, I'm not even speaking in the sauna. Whatever y'all talking about that I can learn from, I need to hear that. So it would be things that I would hear like a big brother to me, like just from afar, is Benjamin Watson. Multiple Super Bowl champ. I'm sure he was All-American at Georgia all day, but a solid dude, bro.
Yeah.
Talking about marriage and all this stuff in the locker room, and I don't have a wedding ring because I messed up my finger, but I was so far in the streets, and like I said, I know the Lord.
Yeah.
But I was so far the other way that it's at that point, nothing he's saying pertained to my life. But just hearing a lot of different things and hearing a lot of different people's stories, and just taking those things and you know what I'm saying, putting in my wealth of knowledge, my wealth, my bank, my bag, if you will.
Yes, sir.
And just keep going on. So I'm going to make this a very short story, but I watched God do some crazy stuff. The day the guy, Brandon Williams, that had us, head nose guard on the team, he was in line for a $50 million deal. His wife at the time, Melissa, had a baby the day of our first preseason game. Cool. So my coach came from, Mike, you were not about to play at all today. Like they script out the plays in the preseason. They say how many reps these people are going to get. There was 0 next to my name. So I wasn't even worried about, I'm going to look good in my uniform.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And hopefully somebody take a picture. I can put this on Instagram.
Facts.
I tried. You dig what I'm saying? So, I went from that to like, hey, I working myself way up, obviously.
Yeah.
But he said, Pierce, you're going to play today. Like, don't crap the bed, if you will. I ain't want to curse.
You good.
So that happens. A third-round draft pick, Carl Davis, still playing in the league to this day, rolls his ankle on the first series of the game. So it went from you going to play at the end of the game, maybe a little bit, to we are out of people. Is it preseason? It don't even matter. Throw Brad in there and sink or swim.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing, actually, and getting a sack on Joe Webb, who's a big brother of mine now. Birmingham legend.
Shout out
to Joe
on
Webb.
the west side. Shout out J.O. over there holding it down over
My
there.
dog. So I ended up getting like a sack and a half, which does not happen for nose guards, and like 6 or 7 tackles.
Yeah.
And then, once that, it was a day.
Yeah.
So I had one of them days, and they kind of had to let me practice.
Yeah.
There was days where I did not practice before that. I like I said, we trying to condense stories.
Yeah.
But it was plenty of days where I didn't practice, and I had to learn from watching film.
Yeah.
And learn from other people's mistakes so I don't make them. So that's the
Man.
part of getting in your bag, learning, being seen and not heard. So when I would make a play in practice and my coach clip it because he going, they worrying about the season.
Yep.
He said, hey, Brandon, we can't do this. Woo, woo, woo. All right, cool. So if I'm in this situation, I can't do this because as soon as I do it, I'm gone.
Right.
So we got to write that down. We got to study that. So everything that he was teaching other people and different things, and like I said, I started going back, and I think that's what saved me too. I started watching Haloti Nada, Kelly Gregg, all these old people that played in the Ravens defense from back then.
Yeah.
Same style defense, 3-4, if you will. People that kind of, like, were built like me, shorter, stocky nose guards. I need to figure that out. Cool. So by the time we get to the season, they're like, where are you asking for all this old film? It's like, bro, I got to piece this together. From a standpoint of, y'all not going to coach me, that's cool. Y'all ain't draft me. We drafted another D-tackle in the 4th round. Interestingly enough, like I said, it's my dog, no disrespect intended. He ended up being put on IR without injury.
Yeah.
Anywho, I say that because they chose to play me instead. So I say all that to say, like, they asking, like, why are you asking for B.J. Raji film? Shout out to Green Bay. Why are you asking for Casey Hampton in Pittsburgh? That's a rival. And like this old film, like this, what we in 2016 at this time, I'm getting film from 2010. And they like, nobody asked for this stuff. I was like, bro, I'm in NFL terms, I'm the shortest person outside of maybe a corner. Normally they want your nose guards to be 6'3", 6'4" in that system. You got to be 350 and whatnot, but normally a lot taller than I am. I'm 6 foot, my arms are shorter, my hands are smaller, all those things. So I need to piece this in a way that it pertains to me and that I can make this work and it look like what you want, but it's just going to be in my own little way. So, that's how I kind of pieced everything together. And they said, God willing, he allowed me to get the opportunity and this stuff started to show.
Man, there's so many consistent characteristics. One, you are a historian, naturally, just being, what you know about your pops for you to be able to rattle off Barry Sanders, Eric Dickerson. So I know that was a prize growing up. Like, man, how you know about these folks, right? And so there are some best practices that I'm seeing being exemplified, even as you talk about navigating those steps. And then alongside that, just the awareness, right, to be able to say, two things. The awareness, but let me lead with this one. The readiness. So we always hear this, especially as athletes, you got to stay ready, got to stay ready, got to stay ready. It's one thing to stay ready physically. It's another thing to always stay ready mentally, which is those mental reps, seeing, listening, some of the corrections, some of the adjustments that coach is making with, okay, all right, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna go left instead of right. Like you're able to see those different things. And the fact that you weren't too overwhelmed with we'll just say the prediction of what they thought you were going to, we'll just say contribute to the game, but you stayed ready, stayed locked in. This is probably where the locked in part worked the best. But you stayed locked in to the point where your name was called. It wasn't hey, what that mean? What that call mean? I already know what time it is, because the last thing you need to be, especially as a football player, is timid. Especially on defense.
Right.
So if I put my foot in the ground, I don't know where I'm going, then I'm going the opposite direction because that person in front of me knows. So that readiness is extremely important. So shout out to you on that. One of the things I was curious about that unfortunately is a challenge for athletes is their inability to get out of the comparison game. So, all right, I come in, undrafted free agent. All right, I'm seeing what he driving. How did you manage being exposed to folks in which, as you mentioned, are getting, incredible size contracts? You are making impact real time that may be equivalent with what they're producing, but at that particular time, you have yet to be able to, get into a season where the contract reflects it, right? So how are you able to manage the influence of some of the other athletes' financial decisions? And then as you respond, and if you could speak to athletes now, what would you say that were some of the best practices that you were able to use?
I just know what's for me is for me. And just because somebody in a season of abundance, that doesn't mean that mine not coming, and it don't mean that this is my time to have it. So your contract is preset for 4 years. It's voidable whenever they feel like it, depending on, how your guarantees are settled. I was an undrafted guy, so I was making league minimum, and then it bumps up. It would be foolish for me to believe that. And thankfully, I went to Sanford. I went to partial business school as well as the political science part. But if the math don't math, it don't math.
Come on, baby, you better talk to me.
If you got to pull out credit to do anything that you don't have the cash to support or your paycheck to support, it probably don't really make too much sense. I mean, like I said, for me, that's a no-brainer, but some people need to hear that. And I had to start to learn that kind of stuff. But no, everybody definitely want to drive a Rolls Royce and all this kind of stuff. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's kind of like the real world. Everybody's paycheck is not the same. Your bank account is not the same. The way the bank gonna treat you is not the same.
Facts.
The way all this stuff is not the same. So, I mean, you can want those things, but it needs to be within reason,
right?
And have a purpose for it. But also more so, like I said, people are living their lives, and their season of abundance is not gonna always look exactly the way, your path plays out. So
Right.
for me, like I said, I've been blessed to come from a good household that's fiscally responsible. But like I said, I definitely spent some money on some things that I should not have. But it was always, my plan for my finances and all those things went ahead of anything else I could have ever done. So,
right. That's great.
like I said, I've been thankful to learn from school, obviously, to learn from home,
Yeah.
to have good financial sound advice given and financial advisor. But
That's good.
it was just more so, like I said, I have a plan, just like I had a plan to make it here.
Right.
These are the things that I got to do. These are non-negotiable. So
Right.
for me, like I said, I'm a son of a pastor. I got to pay 3% in tithes.
Yeah.
I owe my agent 3%.
Right.
They cut my taxes and checks, so 30-40% of my check is gone.
Yeah.
We looking at, my math might be bad. We ain't got that much money left, 40-something%. So
Come on, man.
with that, I need to, like I said, I'm on rookie deal. At some point, I'm going to buy a home. Not right now. So interestingly enough, I was undrafted rookie. I did not have cable until my family came to visit. And my dad said, I know you're not in the NFL in a one-bedroom apartment. Just not paying cable.
Yeah.
This is $40. But I'm like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to be here that long. But
that's good.
I'm trying to save as much as I can. Just if this don't work out, even though I'm balling on the field, in my mind, I'm like, hey, I can get cut. I can get hurt again. My knee might give out.
Right.
I don't have money to play with. Like draft boys, they came in with their chains on.
Right.
Everything that don't look cool. They going to Miami. That ain't where we at right now.
Right.
And it's, I guess, being realistic with what you have and where you are, regardless of any profession, will do you the most good.
Yeah.
Right. So I
That's
mean, I
good.
see boys now. I'm retired. They still making those big purchases.
Right.
Like I said, hopefully they got the finances to
Back
and the
it
plan and to sustain them for the rest of their lives. But unfortunately, probably not. There's a series called Broke that they used to do.
Yep.
I've watched that plenty of times, and God willing, my name will never be on there.
No, it ain't.
So, man, like I said, for me, it's just more so establishing a plan. Just like I got to get here, I got to have a plan for my finances, and then just not violating the plan. Like I said, I put money away. We ain't taking it out for no reason.
Right.
Unless somebody, unless I expire.
Right.
Or somebody died and we got to do something immediate for my immediate family.
Right.
Other than that, we ain't violating the plan for nothing.
Yeah.
So if I can't go to Dubai, this year, cool.
Yep.
I'll get there.
Right.
At some point. As long as I keep living, keep breathing.
Right.
It'll get there when it get there. But the plan is the plan. And like I said, just how I followed that plan from 4 to 22, 23. We got to follow this plan for 23 through the rest of life.
Yeah. That's amazing, man, because it's, again, the same core fundamentals that we learn playing ball, playing sports is that we got a playbook. And the playbook ultimately is a printed out version of roles and responsibilities based off of the position. And just as you mentioned, you have a game plan for your finances. You have a financial playbook that you have roles and responsibilities, timelines of when you want to have access to your money, goals and objectives of where you're allocating your money. And so if it's not in the plan, then we ain't running a play, so that's excellent. What is your favorite memory on the field in the NFL? What is your most memorable play? What's the play to where if you out at Cheesecake Factory and they like, hey, Pierce, hey, you remember that play with and you like, man, that was actually my favorite. And again, there may be plays, collegiate, high school, to where you like, but NFL, is there a play that sticks out the most that, when you're reminded, or if it doesn't take much for you to remember, you naturally it's a smile?
Well, no, that's not unfortunately. I made myself a meme without trying. Well, I was trying to prevent myself from being a meme, and I became a meme, and the laughing stock, or just a source of joy. I say it as the source of joy.
There you go.
To millions of people. Like I said, at that time, I was coming off calf injury. Okay. I had missed like 6 weeks of my very last year. Last home game of my career in Baltimore. I dropped back and caught a pick. That does not happen for large people if you happen not to watch football. You're just a financial fan. Big folks don't catch interceptions, so when they do, it's a whole big deal. Now, they mind you, like I said, this stuff happens like this.
Yeah, it's quick.
We laugh at folks who keep running down the field thinking they going to make it, trying to shake people and all this stuff. We're winning the game. It's super cold. I'm coming off a torn calf, and I also had torn my quad during that offseason. and did not have surgery.
Okay.
So there was no absolute way I was gonna make it 80 yards down the field.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, cool. I'm laughing as I caught the pick. I'm just gonna slide and call it a day. Right? Cool. Look, God couldn't have scripted my ending outside of me winning the Super Bowl in New Orleans last year. I hate Josh Allen any better. So nah, man, that was my last home game. I got a pick. Like I said, that's a Rudy moment. You can't even script that, dog.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I said, the way that these people have ran with that, and
Yeah.
like I said, old ladies who don't watch football.
Right.
Like, oh my God, you're Michael Pierce. That was so funny. My husband, my daughter, I'm like, they sending this all over the NFL and reposted it a year later.
Right.
I'm like, dang, like, did that reach that many people?
Yeah.
And that many folks got laugh out of my little place. So, no, that was like I said, you come in unceremoniously and you leave in such a loud way. Like I said, it can't be nobody.
That man,
God, bro.
what a bookmark. That's a beautiful bookmark because just as you mentioned, the amount of eyes and attention from that moment, and the way you handled it, the way in which you navigated the interview afterwards, like it was in a way you've continued to handle it, and just the way you processed it in regards to the joy that it brought to folks. Because as a DB, as a skilled player, one of the things we always laugh about is that at practice, it's always the D-line, O-line want to play catch. Like, man, y'all don't be catching the ball anyway.
Right.
So the fact that there was that opportunity for D-line to not only put their hands on that rock, catch that thing, take a couple of strides, man, you can't beat it. And so, and most folks don't understand or realize that 99% of athletes, and I'll just speak for football, you are never playing 100% injury free. You're always dealing with something. And so just having that afterthought, because we've seen a number of videos where athletes, D-line, linebackers, even DBs, they done got a pick and got walked down and poked that thing out and then went the other way. So a lot of wisdom there. A few more questions before we finish up. As you know, this world of like name, image, and likeness is crazy. And there is more people making money much younger. And one of the things that I've always been, I've appreciated about your leadership is that if you Google your name, the only thing that probably may have the most amount of views is what you just shared, right? The way in which you were able to say, I'm done with y'all, and I'm going out with the ball in my hand. Alongside that, unfortunately, there are athletes that we all know of that if you Google their name, there's certain decisions that they wish, they could take back. And part of that is having access to resources that their family may have never had access to. They don't have access to the right people to give them insight and expertise. And so there's a level of responsibility that comes with being, a professional athlete that you're not necessarily trained to manage, right? Like they don't say, hey, now you're an athlete. Everybody's going to be watching you. Got to watch every word. Like I was just training to be an athlete. Right. Now the byproduct of that is that, and that's why I love when Marshawn Lynch was like, I'm just here so I don't get fired, right? Or here I don't get fined, right? Like y'all didn't pay me to, articulate X, Y, and Z. You pay me to reflect that on the field. Right. So now it is, I won't say now, it's always been a role from a leadership standpoint because, most kids, even black and brown kids specifically, whenever they think about getting out of wherever they are, it's either through sports, it's either through entertainment, right? And so you've been able to show out on the field, but also show up off the field as we are communicating to some of these athletes that have incredible opportunities in front of them. What's some of the feedback and recommendations you would share with them as, hey, yes, you are bringing these assets, make sure you do this. But while you have this attention, make sure you do this as well.
Yeah. Let's address the attention first, right?
Yeah.
So I would just caution people to say, I know NIL is a thing, but like if you're shooting to go to the NFL, it's an acronym for not for long.
Yeah.
So most people don't make it. I was blessed to play 9 years. Most people play, I think the average is 3 years.
Yep.
So you barely get pension. You don't really have much in your 401k. All that stuff you can figure out on your own. But the benefits of playing in the NFL literally come after that. That's kind of probably why they do it. Well, I know that's why they do it.
That's why.
Yeah.
Facts.
For folks who don't understand, that's why they do it.
Yep.
So as you grow in your career, which is very not for certain and not for long, the more privileged you are, obviously, the more benefits that come after just from longevity in the game.
Right.
So if you're not going to be able to play that long, and like I said, injuries happen clearly, as you heard in my story. All different life happens. Some people, do some things that, probably would, take you out the league, if you will. But, yeah, so just maximize your presence. Whatever you think you want to do outside of football, one, develop a plan.
That's good.
For after football, because I played as long as I wanted to play. I got tired of getting run into. I got tired of having surgeries, all that stuff. Unless you, like I said, no longer breathing, football is going to end at some point.
Yep.
So branch out and do whatever, dab into it. So your influence is your, I would say, your gateway to whatever it is you want to do, whatever you want to get exposed to.
Yep.
Especially those guys who play at those big schools where everybody's grabbing at them for different things.
Right.
Use that same platform to expound your knowledge and do whatever it is, or put your foot in, or meet the right people to whatever it is that you may be interested in. Outside of football, it's the time to do that right now. So let's not even waste that, because once it's gone, it's gone.
That's
right?
fact.
So that's the most thing. Time is not your friend, but also maximize time, and you just never know how long you're gonna have that light on you. So let's go and get cooking on whatever it is you're passionate about. Two, the preservation of capital. So outside of our love for the game, obviously everybody loves the paychecks that we make. So especially now that's in college.
Yeah.
And that can be a dangerous thing, obviously, just from the fact of, like I said, I come from a great household, but I definitely would not have done well.
Yep.
Or me sitting here now at 33, I'm giving Mike $800 grand, $700 grand, however many hundreds of thousands of dollars you may be making. I wouldn't have done great with it. I probably done a little bit better than most, just from, like I said, my background. But it's definitely a lot of stuff I would probably do. I would tell myself to do differently then. So, have good leadership.
Yeah.
Vet everything. And more importantly, just as much time and attention you put into football, I don't know why you would not put more time and attention into something that can propel you in life.
Yeah.
That's going to sustain you in life. We don't live for money, but at the same time, you need money to do everything.
Yep.
So why would we, like I said, for me, I think, and if you don't mind me veering off a little bit.
You good.
I got my second deal, which is normally your largest deal in your NFL career. Over COVID, I have asthma and whatnot. Had it since I was a little kid. So my childhood doctor told me not to play that season. I followed his advice, and so I sat out. But I got a whole bunch of influx of money with unlimited time for like a year to do whatever I wanted to do. That could be dangerous to some people.
Yes, it can.
But like I said, I got good leadership. But I bring that up to say, like, there was a time at that time, my financial advisor, if you will, called and asked me about a certain number of investments. At that time, I knew about the stock market, obviously. I did not know about the world and the nuances of private equity. So he's pitching me these ideas, or not pitching me. They have, well, we'll just break it down.
Yep.
Their firm has partnerships with different private equity firms that, you may, I mean, obviously you do this, so you probably will, but regular investors, even accredited investors, and if you're not of a certain category, you won't even have access to.
You ain't gonna know about it.
You might not know about it, but you certainly just can't come over here and say, hey, Blackstone, I'd like to buy into your real estate, your REIT fund.
Right.
Where UCLA invest their money and they pensions and all this stuff for their teachers and endowments going to these funds and type things. So he was talking to me about those things and say, hey, I'd like to take a couple $100 grand and put this here. Now, like I said, I've known my financial, and my dad has known my financial advisor for longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
Great track record. Made a ton of people who were tens of millionaires, 100 millionaires.
Right.
Those type of things. So, like I said, sterling reputation, never been investigated by anybody, never gone to jail. I know some people have had some money stolen. But again, you got to vet these people. So
that's right.
Thankfully, like through my relationships, I have with him. But I say all that to say that was the scariest moment in my life. To have stacked all this money, like I said, I didn't have cable for the longest in my rookie year, to, all right, cool, we just got all this money. And like I said, I'm cool with you don't have to explain to me about the stock market. I can go tell you I can go look at a quarterly earnings report on my own. I can go do all this stuff on my own. But the world of private equity, I had no idea. So I understand how people feel when they say, oh my God, the S&P 500. They got
Right.
500 companies, and what they about to do with what?
Right.
And how does it go up? And how does this work? And these charts, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
this is good.
there are nuances to everything, but I've been in that place where I say, oh my God, I have no idea what this dude talking about.
Right.
And you get on their website and they saying how they perform and all this stuff, but if you don't really know, or you don't have the time to sit down and read a perspectives, if you don't know what that is,
Talk
you need to
to
understand
me,
that.
boy.
So if you don't understand, that's so hard to say, hey, this is my life.
Yeah.
And I'm trusting you to put this in a company where I don't know John Gray, the CEO.
Yeah.
And who is this and what's going on?
Right.
But so I say all that to say, like,
This is good.
I missed out on hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But he told me at that time, if you do not feel comfortable
It's good.
and you want to learn and you want to understand, I can send you these books. I can send
That's
you
a
this
great
stuff.
financial advice. That's
So
what I'm talking about.
I'm
That's
cool
good.
with missing out on something right now for me to learn, vet, understand, and then put the money there.
Yeah.
I don't want to just trust people. I trust him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he runs, executes things on my behalf. But I also need to understand and know where this stuff is coming from. And like I said, all it really takes is time once you're exposed.
Yeah.
But if you never came across somebody who mentioned private equity companies and they the largest alternative manager of wealth in the world,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was BlackRock he was talking about.
Yeah.
Blackstone. So I'm like,
there's more.
there's another one. And they do what? That's not the
That
same
ain't the
thing.
same- yeah, that's
commingled
good.
or nothing. It's not, yeah. So, I just wanted to mention that to say, like, even when you're adept at certain things, there are definitely continuing levels of education and things that, you know what I'm saying, you can't let fear stop you from starting.
Yeah.
And then once you start to understand, stuff
Right.
becomes easier.
Yeah, I don't understand how excited I am. This man done shared the term prospectus. This boy talking about private equity. Like this is, I'm a kid in a candy store right now. I can do the Tootsie Roll just because it is this type of courage you just shared that unfortunately as athletes isn't necessarily cultivated to be able to lean into something we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because part of our profile to be the man is to be like, nah, I got this. I know what to do. And so when someone explains something at face value, sometimes it's hard to keep that same bravado posture while having humility unless there's trust. And so the fact that the trust allowed for the pace of education, we say this all the time, don't allocate unless you educate, right? And so there's a level of education that we all need. And that's why even with our company, we have solutions for every tax bracket. We tell folks, I don't care how much money you make, how many assets you got, there is going to be a blind spot in your plan, not because of your ignorance. It's really because of, or your selective ignorance is really because the world of finances moves so much. Your awareness has to be in this space every single day to be able to, confidently know. But for the most part, if you have the right team around you and you can start communicating in languages in which we can all understand, like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Okay. And so I'm super excited because what they're going through right now to these athletes that you just gave some free jewelry to, so make sure y'all pick that up, is if you don't know, don't do anything. And if anything that you do, don't let it be tied to your money. Let it be tied to you understanding the language of money and the direction in which you need to go.
Indeed.
And so love that. All right. Snap them chin straps off. You took that helmet off, made the announcement like, hey, y'all, and this is rare. A majority of the time, the game walks away from you. Majority of the time. This time, you was like, all right, big dog, holla at y'all. That's enough, right? And it's that is one thing to definitely salute, celebrate. But as you think about that transition, and I'm just gonna get into, I got one rant, a podcast. I'm gonna get one of the things that finishing up a book on is I actually have a few approaches when it pertains to professional sports, and I'll just use the NFL. So I don't believe the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball is a career. I think that term has been misused only because if we are in front of a group of students and they say, hey, I want to become a doctor. Hey, I want to be an attorney. Hey, I want to be an astronaut. 99.9% of the time, no one is going to say, hey, make sure you have a plan B. But when it pertains to football, basketball, baseball, they say you need to have a plan B. And, our approach, and again, there'll be more details in the book. But my thing, when you think about sports, and this is something I had to deal with. So the source of the mission of the book was really based off of my personal experience. Because when folks used to come into the high schools and they would speak about life after sports, and they were like, all right, only 1% of y'all gonna make it to the league. Well, I'm like, well, bro, I'm that 1%. So everything you saying right now, I ain't got nothing on. Right, like,
Indeed.
man, look.
Yep, I've been there.
And I hope everybody in this room, or at least the dogs in this room, think that they the 1% too. Unfortunately, now I'm discounting the words that they're saying, and it's probably the seed I need to know to be able to live the life after sports, right?
I definitely see that, yeah. I probably missed some gems.
Right, I'd have missed,
just being defensive. You're not about to tell me.
Because the way they categorize
Indeed.
it, right? And
Indeed.
so one of the things when I do speak to athletes, I let them know, I say, regardless if you make it to the league or not, you're always going to be on plan A because the transition is baked in. It may happen in high school. It may happen in college. It may happen after 15 years in the NFL, but there's going to be a transition baked in regardless. And so it's important, to your point, and you dropped it. That's why I'm like, oh, this is everything we've been saying. We tell the kids, if you make $1,000, $100,000, $500,000, if you make it to the NFL, where would you want to place your education to keep making the money that your lifestyle is going to have to be able to keep up with, right? Or support, right? Because you make it to the league, now you got all these different expenses. And so there has to be something you put your money into that outpaces all those things that you learn once you got an understanding of the language of money, like inflation and your understanding of taxes, cost of live, like all these components. And so just wanted to flag that distinction on, unfortunately, when it's pertaining to athletes, we are downloaded with the awareness that it's going to stop at some point. But unfortunately, the athlete's ability to be able to receive it is just, like you said, we get defensive. Like, man, you ain't talking to me, bro. I'm finna go to the league. I'm finna make a lot of money. It's going to be enough. So now that you have been able to unstrap that helmet and you placed it to the side, what is life like now for Michael Pierce?
Life looks like a lot of different things. Obviously trying to, get in, like I said, regular people shape, if you will. Lose all the excess football weight. There's no need for me to walk in Publix.
Oh, so
NFL strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, no, it's just, like I said, I just love lifting weights, so I just like making that little joke. But, no, it looks like going to the gym every day. My wife's a pharmacist, so, like serving her, you know what I'm saying? Normally you in the league.
Shout out.
It's just the roles are reversed, right? I'm up early. Well, I had a chef, so she didn't have to cook or anything. I'm up early. I kiss her. I'm gone. Boom. I get back home. I'm dead tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's for dinner?
Yeah.
We're going to sit on the couch for a little while. Then I go to sleep, and it's just
same thing.
7 days a week. So, no, it looks like taking my wife on coffee dates when she off. She work part-time.
Yeah.
It looks like me just filling my time with different things. So, like I said, mentorship of young athletes and young men is something that was introduced to me at Sanford. Right. And like I said, I kind of learned from a lot of people, even from afar. It's something I do, like I said, to different athletes in different places.
Right.
Like I said, it also looks like just trying to figure out my way to give back through the game of football. Yeah. Maybe it's working at Sanford one day or working for an agency one day. All those things are kind of, you know what I'm saying, I'm juggling those things, trying to get in the works at both of those realms of sports.
Yeah.
So, man, and just being an executive of business, starting a business with my younger brother, doing some real estate moves. That's going to take, it's just about a long-term play with those things.
Right.
But just, I guess, me putting myself in a position to do all those things and build all those things is kind of the thing I would say I'm most proud of myself. Yeah. Just to be able to have something that my family can eat off. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's something we can get back and do. It's a whole bunch of different things I can do. So, it's just about navigating those things. And like I said, hopefully, probably by the end of the year, I have a path selected. Yeah. And it's just going to look like me pursuing my football dream, whether it's coming in unceremoniously and working my way up to the top, or, you know what I'm saying, just coming in and adding to somebody's already established thing. Right. Either way is fine with me.
Right.
But, so it's just about juggling those hats, Making sure our finances are good.
Right.
Obviously, checking in, doing those different things, exploring different opportunities. But yeah, just building with my younger brother. Also, like I said, trying to figure out what I want to do to give back in sports. And like I said, thankfully, I've been in a place where it doesn't have to be so much money driven.
Right.
Just from
right.
From a place of
Rush it.
having a good heart and being able to serve some younger guys.
Yeah. 78, unfortunately, 78 to 80% of NFL and NBA players go bankrupt 3 to 5 years after the last
I
game.
didn't know it was that bad. Dang.
So, and I think now I do think that number is starting to decrease a bit, but now with name, image, and likeness, it's like I'm so curious just over the next 5 to 10 years how the data gonna be, is gonna come out. But when you think about that, if you have a group of 10 NFL players, 8 of them are gonna go bankrupt.
Like I said, I had no idea it was that bad.
Right. The beauty of it is that you are one of the 2 that's not. So one of the things that I want to salute you on is the discipline, the rigor, the commitment, the consistency, and still showing up even when it didn't feel good, right? So shout out to you for being the anomaly, but also being the example that we can stand up in the community. And so everything that you just shared, not only is going to happen, but also tenfold in regards to the impact. So I definitely appreciate you. Second is we want to thank you for your time, my brother, for joining the podcast, man. This has been extremely fruitful, regardless of the season folks are in. If they're in harvest season, if they sowing seed, they will be able to take pieces of your story and your responses and your feedback and implement that in their own lives in ways that will be able to outlive all of us, right? And so that's what we definitely see as legacy. Anything you want to leave with our audience before we shoot the deuces?
No, I just want to say one thing. Those adjectives you just used to describe me can describe anybody. It's literally
That's good.
Just about what you see yourself doing. Think about it.
Yeah.
Discipline. Anybody can do it. It's free.
Yep.
It's just about what you're passionate about. So if you really want to do something, it certainly can be done. And like I said, those adjectives don't just describe me, that describe yourself, that describes Miss Candace, that describes anybody who's successful at anything. You had to apply some of those principles. So like I said, the knowledge is free.
Yeah.
The want to is not. And that just gotta come from yourself. So that's literally it.
Facts. Ching, 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 ching. Isaac, what's that sound? Free jewelry just dropping on the floor. So make sure y'all pick that up. Another incredible episode of the Planning Podcast. Yo, we're going to keep them coming. As you can see, we have incredible folks with incredible stories. Make sure you follow Michael Pierce. You ain't got to throw out your Instagram. You can just Google Michael Pierce Jr. Cool, let me throw that Jr. out there. My bad, Pops. You can Google Michael Pierce Jr., and just follow along on some of the incredible work that's happening. One thing I got to shout out, you are being inducted into the Hall of Fame through Sanford Athletic Department. So the Sanford Sports, Sanford University. So shout out to Mike, because that is a big deal. As he mentioned, Sanford University, we like to call that the Harvard of the South. But people think that our value is only from the neck up. But also we got some good gargantuan folks that can show up on the field from the neck down, all right? And so he represented that on the field and off the field. So shout out to Sanford University for that being our common denominator. And we really look forward to more episodes. So thank you all. Make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, and of course, stay planning.
Appreciate you.
All right, we solid, we good. All right, that boy got no bars. Water.